Okay, so it's time to give yourself a massive pat on the back because you've worked through the process. You've worked through the lifestyle reboot. You've undoubtedly followed all the steps that have been laid out for you, and so you're drinking a lot more water, you're moving more, you're meditating, you're journaling, you're doing all that great stuff, and you're starting to see positive impacts in your life. You're starting to feel better. You're starting to feel more energetic, and you're starting to feel that sort of that zest and that passion for life that comes through just following a routine and following a plan and allowing yourself to become more aligned with your own sort of like personal truth and your personal goals. So what happens now? Well, basically what happens now is you continue to use this process for the rest of your life. You will find times where you start to sort of basically come off the rails, the things that go sloppy and loose around the edges. You'll start to take certain things for granted. You'll start to, certain habits will become so habitual that you'll forget to stay on top of them. That kind of sounds crazy, but I mean, I just to give you an example, I'd like to share with you what happened to me when I walked and ran from Perth to Brisbane. Now, I lived an extremely minimalistic sort of life for 4 months. I mean, I had a very basic routine, every single day I would get up, I'd have my breakfast, get dressed, and then during the day I'd do 5 or 6 sessions of somewhere between 5 and 15 Ks each and cover maybe 50 to 55 kilometres, to take me towards Brisbane. I did very little. I had a support crew that did a lot of my, the things like the laundry and the food and the shopping and driving the support vehicle and all that kind of stuff. I had a very, very simple lifestyle. I had a routine that was incredibly rigid and consistent, and I had habits in place that became so firmly embedded in my life that I literally did not have to think about them. Then when I came back at the end, once I came back into sort of like civilization, into normality, I had thought about those habits hardly at all for such a long time that suddenly everything was in tatters. There was like, I'd had this very rigid kind of habit-based life, and as I say, it become so routine, and I'd thought about it so little that I actually found that I'd basically lost all those habits. That when I actually came back into another scenario, into another situation in a different environment, I didn't know how to be good. I didn't know how to follow those basic habits every single day of my life. And I've literally had to go through the lifestyle reboot process. Now, that is a bit extreme. I don't expect every single person to go through the lifestyle reboot. I don't expect you to suddenly find yourself one day that everything has fallen apart and you need to start again from scratch and from square one. But you will need to revisit on a regular basis. I mean, we did introduce in one of the earlier lessons the concept of having that regular review, whether it's a like monthly, weekly, annual, and so on. But what I would strongly encourage you to do is every time you feel like you've got into another rut, maybe you've found yourself in another comfort zone, maybe you're going through that feeling again of like I've achieved a certain amount, I've achieved so much, but there's still more, there's another barrier I need to break through, then get back to basics. Get back to the basic principles that are explained in this whole process. Get back to really thinking about your water, thinking about your food, thinking about your exercise, thinking about your routines, thinking about meditation and journaling. Make sure you're on top of those. Really dig into the things that are causing you the most pain during those meditation sessions, and just let the reboot process work for you again and again and again. I mean, it's not much different to say a computer system. I mean, you run a reboot, the computer suddenly works a lot better, more efficient. There's like those programs and memory leaks have all been rectified by performing the reboot, but over time, as you're using the computer, those issues start creeping back in. So we just perform a reboot on the computer. We do exactly the same with our brains and with our lives. And you now have in your hands all the tools and techniques that you can take, make them and adapt them to make them work for you even better than I could possibly dream of, because it's your life and it's it's your mind and so on and so forth. But thank you for being part of Lifestyle Reboot. Thank you for working through all the lessons. I really do hope, and I'm pretty confident that you're feeling the benefits already. And I wish you all the very best. And I'm so glad that you now have this toolkit in your possession, and that you can take that forward and have a real impact on your life and probably on the lives of many, many others. So thanks for being here. Thanks for following this process. And I look forward to staying in touch with you.